Hello, and welcome back to Let's Vibe Podcast. I'm your host, Vibe with Aid, and in today's episode, I'm going to be talking about setting goals and my goals for 2020. This is the first full episode of Let's Vibe Podcast, and I'm so happy to have you here. If you haven't checked out the first episode, that episode just talks about what this podcast is going to be about and just a general overview of everything in my background. For those that may not know, I do own a blog and a YouTube channel about going to music festivals, and I started this podcast to discuss some longer form festival topics as well as other topics I'm passionate about. Today, I wanted to talk about goal setting and my goals for the year. I feel like the start of the year was just such a whirlwind, so I feel like I had to do a lot of resetting and thinking about what's important to me this year and figuring out what my goals are going to be and how I can plan to achieve those. And I feel like talking with you guys can also help you do the same. I did film a video about this that I didn't like, so I deleted all that footage and thought a podcast episode might work better for this. If you like this episode, I'd love it if you tag me on Instagram with a screenshot of you listening. My Instagram is @VibeWithAid. Right now, we are available on Anchor, Spotify, and YouTube, and then I'm hoping to get added to some of the other ones, but we will just see kind of how this goes. I appreciate you for taking the time to listen. Your support just means everything to me, so thank you, thank you, thank you. And without further ado, let's get into the episode. So I know February just started, but January felt like one of the longest and hardest months in a while. I feel like I didn't get a good shot at the start of the year to make it a good year, which is why I wanted to do this episode. I know there might be some others that are feeling the struggle of the new year. Normally, I'm ready to go and excited to take on the new year, but this year has been a lot different. If you follow me closely, you know I got sick right after Lights All Night Music Festival, which led me to going to bed at 8 p.m. on New Year's Eve, kissing a bottle of NyQuil. I had gotten the cold or the flu or something. It lasted maybe about 48 hours. And I think it was just my body telling me to, take a break, to chill, relax. And, that's not usually how I feel about going into a new year. I'm usually energized and ready to go. But once I felt better, I was finally feeling ready and excited for the new year. And then on January 9th, I got into my first car accident, just seconds from my apartment. I was rear-ended by a tow truck going about 30 to 40 miles per hour, and I hit the car in front of me. This accident has been a challenge to overcome. I didn't do anything wrong, and now anytime I drive, I'm worried some car is going to hit me from behind again, so it's been really challenging to work on that. I'm really trying, and I know healing isn't linear, and it doesn't happen overnight. And then if you do follow me closely, I recently went through a breakup, so I had been dating my boyfriend at the time, Ryan. We had been dating for about a year and a half, and at the end of January, he broke up with me, and I empathized for him, and we ended on really great terms. If you watch the video on YouTube, you look at my social posts, if you read my February letter from the editor, you'll kind of get an understanding of what might have happened. But that really just, surprised me. I was not expecting it to happen, but I understood where he was coming from. It wasn't anything I necessarily did wrong. He just needs to figure out stuff for himself, and now I'm figuring out what life looks like without him and figuring out what my life looks like going forward. Hence why I think this is a great time that this episode is coming, because I feel like I can set a reset for myself and hopefully do the same for you guys as well. We're starting the month of February, which is the month of love, and while I might not be sharing this love with the significant other I thought I was going to be, I think I can turn that love back into me and really work on myself and focus on myself. And so I'm hoping by sharing some of my intentions for the year and month with you all can keep me accountable as well as you accountable. So this also kind of leads me to something that I want to instill in my podcast episodes, and I want to call it a vibe check, which I know has become like a meme this past couple of months of, vibe check or whatever it may be. And so I think having a little vibe check for you and having a vibe check for me can really set the tone for the episode of just, taking into account how are we feeling? How are we doing in this moment? What could we do to make things better for ourselves? And I'll start, and as I ask myself these questions and answer them, you can do it to yourself. I always like to just take 3 deep breaths. So if you want to collectively do that, you can do that with me, where we'll breathe in, hold for 3, and then exhale it out. And then we'll do it again. And back out. Breathe in. And exhale. Then from there, I want to ask myself, how am I doing? So today it's Sunday. It's February 9th. It is a cloudy day in Austin. I'm feeling all right. I went to a show for the first time, single for the first time in a long time. I went with a close friend though, and I went with some of her friends. So it was good to get back out there. I did find myself, hoping that my ex might walk in, or, I'm in this very weird phase where I just want to hear from him, whether that be a text or a phone call, but I'm trying my best to not contact him. And I know he is not going to contact me as well, because we both agreed we need time and space to heal, and it hurts. It sucks. I just really want to talk to him. We became really close during that time. We became best friends, really. Like, I shared so much of myself with him, and he shared a lot with me, that it's hard. It's definitely hard to get through this, but I'm just pushing through. Like I said, I'm working on myself, and, we'll get there. In this moment, what I could do to make it better is just to, like I said, focus on myself. Any thoughts I might have about him, just try and deter it away and get back to focusing on me. And I've put some goals for myself that I'll talk about in a later episode. I think when I talk about how I'm handling the breakup, I think would be a great episode later down the road that I would love to share with you guys. But just kind of keeping those goals in mind, and, keeping myself busy with the podcast and content and everything else like that. So then after you kind of evaluate how you're doing in this moment and how you can make yourself feel better, or what could you do to make feel better, I always try to add an affirmation of some sort. If you have never heard of affirmations, I definitely recommend looking them up, checking them out, seeing what they mean. It basically is a way to affirm something for yourself. Whatever that may be, it can be a variety of different topics. Affirmation Addict on Instagram is one of my favorite accounts to follow. I actually have known her since middle school, so it's been really awesome to see her grow. And she has an app called Affirm It, where you can look over different affirmations and select ones that resonate with you. You can also set a notification. So during the day, I'll get a notification of a certain affirmation that I resonate with. That just kind of resets me and thinks like, okay, yes, like I can keep progressing forward. I can keep doing this. So I'm just going to close this little vibe check with my affirmation of that I've been saying for the past couple of days now, is that I am strong, I am confident, I am capable, and I am worthy. I am enough. And so whenever you feel like you're getting pulled away from something, or you're getting overwhelmed or anxious or anything like that, you can use affirmations to kind of reel you back in and remind you of where you are, what's important. It can kind of bring you into the present moment. So I always really recommend those. So I hope you guys like this little format. I hope to do them every episode just to kind of kick it off and kind of set the stage after I intro what the episode's going to be about. And, just check in with yourselves, check in with your friends, make sure we're all doing good and everything. We're not alone in this. We're all in this together. So I really hope you guys like this segment of the podcast. So now we are going to talk about setting goals. When it comes to setting goals, what I do is at the end or the start of the year, depending on my timeline, I'll meditate and think on what I want the next year to look like for me. I have found a couple of writing prompts that allow me to envision this. I'll see if I can create a template for you and add it to the show notes and post it to my website for you all to see. It typically relates to my vision, what would fulfill me, etc., etc. Then I choose a word for the year. Last year it was confidence, and this year is fearless. The reason why I picked confidence last year is that I just wanted to feel more sure of myself. I wanted to feel confident in the work I was producing, the relationships I was having, that I was just really confident in myself and sure of myself. I don't really think by the end of 2019 that I was fully confident in myself, but I do believe that that helped guide me to kind of get into a better place with my confidence. And then this year, I feel like taking that to the next level is being fearless. I have a lot of fear and anxiety sometimes that kind of control my life in a way. My fear and my inner voice in my head do keep me a lot sometimes on stuff I really want to work on. I do tend to have imposter syndrome sometimes where I feel like I'm not worthy of the success I've had, or I'm not worthy of certain things in my life. And so I really want to work on my inner voice this year and just telling her to shut the hell up so I can go forward in life and do things that I really do want to do and be confident that I can be able to handle that and whatnot. Another template that I discovered this year that I found helpful was listing out the following, and I'll put this in the show notes as well. In 2020, I want to quit, I want to try, I want to start, I want to stop, I want to learn, I want to have, I want to continue, and I want to be. I think this is really great if you don't want to think on it too much, if you're not the type to do goals or resolutions. I think this is a super easy way to kind of envision the year you want to make for yourself in 2020. I found this from Keaton Milburn. She's on YouTube, but she found it from somewhere else, I believe. But I think that's just a really good way to kind of just set the tone of what you want your main intention for the year to be. And so after I set those main intentions for the year, I get to writing my goals. A lot of people say you don't need to have that many. I wrote 20 for this year, some big and some small. It really just depends. Choose whatever you think is right for you and that you can sustain and find manageable. You don't want to set a ton of goals that aren't sustainable or manageable, because then you'll get upset with yourself and you'll get more bogged down on yourself when you don't meet those goals. So I just have chosen ones that already kind of align with things that I am doing, so it would kind of help reinforce what I'm currently doing, and then ones that are kind of bigger, loftier goals. The document I put together has 3 sections for myself. The first one is what goal do I want to accomplish? And then in the second section, I'll take each goal and then I will put why I want to accomplish this goal. So that kind of puts the purpose, behind it. Why am I doing this? Why am I aiming to do this? And then the third is how I am going to accomplish this goal. So I am a firm believer that you can't accomplish a goal if you don't have tactics in place behind it. I am a marketing person, so that is just where I'm coming from. You have a goal and then you put tactics in line with it to help you accomplish that goal. So for example, one of my goals last year was to hit 7K on Instagram, and I hit 10K shortly after 2020 started. And I was thinking, why do I want to accomplish this goal? And I said, well, primarily to get closer to that swipe up feature. So if you guys don't know, on Instagram, if you hit 10K, you get the swipe up feature on your Instagram story. And so I find that really beneficial for me as a content creator, because it simplifies my process of getting my audience content. It's easier for them to swipe up on an Instagram story versus having to go to the Instagram bio. I know that's such like a weird goal or weird reasoning for it. I love my audience, but I really don't care about that number, because I just want to help as many people as possible. And if one person is helped through my content, then I'm really happy about it. But just from like a process standpoint, I feel like that swipe up feature is just really great for creators. I also felt like with this goal, it'd be a good challenge to create content that warrants a following. So it would challenge me to create really great content that people would want to follow and would want to follow along. And then the final part is how I'm going to accomplish this goal. So I wrote to produce high quality content, work on IGTV, consistent posting, and collabs with brands and other influencers. So I'd go through that process for each goal, and having that all kind of aligned just sets my intentions for the year and makes that goal actionable by adding tactics to how I'll accomplish that goal. Then in the months, I'll be able to execute those tactics so that it helps my overall goal, if that makes sense. So that would be like my yearly goals, right? So I'll have the overarching main intention for my year, and then I'll have the 20 goals below it. and the game plan for those goals. And having that game plan kind of then helps me align the goals on a monthly, weekly, daily kind of basis. When it comes to monthly goals, I don't make those as detailed, but I might make one of the goals I set for the year a main focus for that month. So for example, last year on my fitness journey, the time between Lollapalooza, which was in August of 2019, and Imagine, which was late September of 2019, I cut out drinking just to see how that helped my fitness journey. And it actually got me to a total of 10 pounds lost for the year, which was really awesome. And I actually also got to my goal weight, but with the holidays and my fall festivals, I went back up, which is totally fine. So for monthly goals, I'll choose a couple of goals that align with those larger goals. And at the start or the end of the month, I'll reevaluate how it went and see what to do better and what to improve on the next month. That is basically what I go through. And I'm going to talk about some of my goals, and you can kind of see what my thought process is for some of those. But if you guys have any questions, let me know on goal setting. I hope this was helpful, and I can put a template on my blog and in the show notes to help assist. Final note on goal setting that I'll say is just be patient with yourself and go easy on yourself. If you mess up 1 month or you mess up 2 months, if you mess up the whole year on that goal, just go easy on yourself. No one is keeping you accountable. Only you are keeping yourself accountable. And if you're gonna be rude to yourself about these goals, then it's gonna be awful and you're gonna make yourself just feel terrible. There's a difference between keeping yourself accountable with grace and allowing yourself to make mistakes, and then there's also being unkind to yourself and doing yourself a disservice by being too restrictive or being too strict on your goals. So try and find that healthy balance between pushing yourself and challenging yourself, but then also allowing for mistakes to happen. I'll never forget last year I had a savings goal, and I thought that I needed to save a certain amount each month for me to get to that savings goal. And I think it was January or February, I had an unexpected expense and I was just crying over it, because I was like, I'm not going to hit my savings goal for the month. And I was like, why am I crying to my mom about this? My mom was like, Adriana, calm down. It's going to be okay. If you mess up, that's fine. She was like, this is why you have savings. It's good that you're saving. You can pay for unexpected expenses. And I'm like, you know what? Why am I crying over this? You're right, Mom. And so that is when I learned to, keep myself accountable but not be too strict about it. And I did hit my savings goal actually at the end of January. So I was off by a month. And the reason for that was that I had more unexpected expenses come up. But I'm really glad I do have the savings that I have, where when those come up, I'm not freaking out. So I do feel very fortunate and grateful about that stuff. And that just reminds me of a whole other topic about gratitude and how important gratitude is. And that will be a whole other episode, honestly. Throughout your goal journey of 2020, definitely figure out ways to celebrate those goals and be grateful, and figure out ways to celebrate yourself and what you've been able to accomplish. And when you have those check-ins with yourself, then figure out how you can celebrate. Whenever I hit a goal fitness wise, I didn't go totally crazy on having a cheat day or anything by any means. But, my ex and I, we would go grab froyo if I was super excited about it, just as a little treat. It kind of just helps to have those little things along the way to look forward to and to make you excited about reaching your goals. Anyways, let's get on to the next portion of this episode where I talk about my goals for 2020. I'm going to take a quick break and I will be right back. So with my goals for 2020, I do a balance of personal goals, health and fitness, relationship, career, etc. I'll share the goals I have for this year and a little reason why, but I don't want to go into it too much as we'll be here forever. So my first goal this year is to prioritize my mental health. This became a big one last year that kind of happened throughout the year. I just really realized that this is important to, check in with myself every now and then, see how I'm doing. Am I overexerting myself in any areas of my life? Do I need to take some me time? Do I need to take some mental health time? Anything like that. So this year I am really trying to prioritize my mental health. I haven't really talked about this yet, but I am seeing a therapist as of last week, and I'm seeing her this week. I just really felt after the accident and the breakup, I was feeling very anxious and unstable. And so I took the steps to go find a therapist, and she's been really awesome. We've only had one session, and I felt so great after it. So I really am excited to continue doing it because, as I'm getting older, as I'm getting more into my brand and just life in general, life happens. And I want to make sure I'm strong enough and I have the coping mechanisms in place to figure that out and to be able to handle those situations and to, rise to the occasion and not completely crumble. And to get past my anxious thoughts and anxiety. I've never really had anxiety before, but my inner voice this past year, she was just really on me. And throughout my relationship last year, I was just so scared of my ex-boyfriend leaving me or cheating on me or something, even though he never gave me a reason to. So I feel like things like that, I just really would not like to have in my head going on. So I really am trying to work on that and prioritize that. And I think having a therapist is just the next step for me. And so I'm really excited for that. Number 2, another personal goal is to journal every day. I found so many benefits for myself by journaling every day. I will journal in the morning and I will just talk about, how I'm feeling. I will set my affirmation for the day, my goal for the day, and I'll write down 3 things that I'm grateful for. Just kind of sets my day on the right foot. And then since the breakup, I've been finding myself journaling at the end of the day too, just to kind of get some thoughts out because I've just been kind of overthinking everything. It's kind of stopped since then, but I have been thinking a lot. So I've been journaling at night just to kind of soothe my mind before I go to bed. Highly, highly recommend getting a journal if you just feel like you need to put your thoughts somewhere. It is a really great release. Number 3, personal, is to read more books. I've 1 book a month and kind of go from there and do fiction, nonfiction, self-help. I really like self-help books. Definitely read more books. Number 4, so another personal goal, is to be fully vegan by the end of the year. I started transitioning to vegetarian/vegan last year. Around August with my ex. We just decided to just kind of try it out and see. I'd always wanted to try it because I am an animal lover, and just some of the stuff that's recently come out about, meat consumption just doesn't fly with me. I also have sensitivity to dairy that I've just kind of ignored because I love cheese so much, but I'm really trying to get a handle on that and really recognize that it's not good for my body, at least. My body doesn't like it. So I'm trying to honor that and hopefully try and be fully vegan by the end of the year. It's obviously hard with going to trips and festivals and stuff, but, that'll just challenge me to kind of figure it out as I go. Number 5, and this one's an easy one, is to experience at least 1 new festival. I just say 1 because if my life were to just kind of crumble down, and at least I could aim to at least go to 1, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm hoping to at least go to 1 new festival. I might be hitting that in March with Crossed, so I'm excited for that. Number 6, travel to at least 1 new place. I don't think I have any plans to go to a new place just yet, but that will hopefully motivate me to book a trip for myself or something along those lines to go somewhere completely new. Number 7 is to get better at speaking online and in person. So a lot of the times on my YouTube videos, I don't get a lot of hate comments, but in some of my earlier videos and in some videos where I didn't really script the video, I say and I say and I say and so a lot. I want to, find a way to speak more eloquently, I guess, just to avoid having those ums and likes and things like that. Also helps me when I'm editing these things, like editing the podcast or editing video. It's more efficient for me to have a video or a script of some sort because then I'm not having to cut out the ums and the likes and things like that. So the next one, I will get my drinking under control for the times I do drink. So This is something that I opened up to you guys about last year on my Instagram and in my week in my life vlog. That was when I went to Arizona. I realized that you know, push myself over the limits when I go back home to Arizona. And when I do tend to drink, I just can't find the reason to stop, even though it goes past my limits. And I really do put myself in some pretty serious situations. So I really would like to limit my drinking and just get it under control. I haven't drank at all in February. I didn't really drink a lot in January, but I haven't drank yet in February, and I hope to continue that. Especially with the breakup, I just do not want to get myself in a situation where I'm drunk calling or drunk crying, texting, whatever it may be, to my ex, because I really want to honor the time and space that we're giving each other right now. And I really don't want to wake up the next day and be like, oh my God, why did I say these things? Why did I do these things? This isn't me, whatever it may be. Number 9, I do have a financial savings goal. I'm not really going to share what that number is, but that is one of my goals. Number 10 is a mental kind of goal where I want to stop competing with others in my head. Competition doesn't exist, the game of comparison. I did this pretty badly last year, where one creator would come out with a video or some type of content or something, and I would immediately just feel this like competitive, jealous feeling in me. And I don't like that. It makes me not feel good about myself. It makes me feel like I'm not doing enough when I am doing enough. I was doing 3 videos a week, I was doing blog posts. And I was helping my audience in some sort of way, but for some reason, when someone else posted something, it would just take away that. And that doesn't exist. Like, that shouldn't exist. So I really want to kind of stop the game of comparison and just kind of be happy for other creators that what they're doing is pushing us forward and that we're really just all in this together. So I'm hoping to kind of work on that this year. Number 11, positive internal voice to myself. As you guys can tell, I have some issues with my internal voice. So that is something I definitely want to work on. And then number 12 is to increase interaction with one-on-one relationships. So whether that be with, a friend that I haven't talked to in a while, I can FaceTime them if we don't live in Austin, or if they do live in Austin, try and grab lunch with them or dinner with them or something along those lines. Number 13 is to be present in my relationship with myself. So this goal actually used to be present in my relationship with my significant other, but seeing as things changed, I decided to change it to with myself. And like I've talked about, I'm definitely working on that, and I'll talk more about this when I do an episode on this breakup. But just to kind of let you guys know is that when I had met my significant other, I don't think I really fully loved myself. I think I was maybe at like a 50%, to be honest. I was working on it, but I was trying to look for external validation and reassurance of myself, and I found it with my ex. And, he really helped me feel loved and secured, and he was so positive, fed me what I needed, but I also knew what that felt like, and I wanted to be able to replicate that for myself. So I did teach myself while in the relationship how to love myself, or how to take extra care of myself, and I can go into what that all looked like in another episode. Probably leaving the relationship, I'm probably at maybe like a 75-80% of loving myself right now, which sucks to say and it sucks to realize. But, that's why I think everything happens for a reason. He broke up with me to go on his own journey, and now it's my turn to go on my own journey. And I think it is, to fully love myself and to fully feel like I am enough and I'm worthy and I'm capable. And yeah, I just got really vulnerable with you guys, but that's kind of just where my headspace is at, is that even though he might not be present in my life right now, I need to just be present in my relationship with myself. So I am really grateful that we have decided to be friends later down the road, and I can still have his presence in my life. But I do need to take this time to just focus on me, because I know he's taking the time to focus on him. So I need to do that for myself. Number 14 is to continue to attend networking events. This is something I lost last year because during the week I was just working on content, and then during the weekends I was hanging out with my boyfriend or hanging out with friends. And so I really feel like I lost this. When I first moved to Austin, I feel like I went to a lot more networking events because I didn't really know anyone yet. And so I was trying to like build my network. And so I really want to get back to that, especially being a blogger and a content creator in Austin. There's a lot of opportunity here for me. And so I really want to try and tap into that this year. Number 15, I have a goal health and fitness wise, and I'd like to get under 130 pounds and stay under. This is just not to look good or anything by any means, but this is just something that I've always had as a goal because I gained a lot of weight in college and I've been slowly going back down in weight. And I feel like the weight I gained in college was a lot of emotional baggage weight, and it was just weighing really heavy on me. This isn't really to look a certain way. It's just to feel good and just to be able to challenge myself in the gym and with my nutrition and everything like that. I just wanted to make that very clear that this is just about, challenging myself in the gym and to lose that emotional baggage weight and just to finally like let it all go. And the next goal I have is prioritize all areas of my health. So this kind of was a goal of mine last year where I wanted to make sure that I wasn't just focusing on, my health and fitness, but that I was also focusing on, my mental state. I was focusing on my teeth. I had really bad gums last year. I had to spend money to get deep cleaning on them, and I've had to make sure that I'm flossing 2 to 3 times a day. So sometimes your health and fitness journey means more than just losing weight and eating a balanced diet. It's about taking care of yourself, going to get tested for STDs. It's making sure you get your checkups and everything. So I just want to make sure that I prioritize that because it feels good to make sure that you are being healthy and you are looking out for yourself because, we only get one body that gets to carry us through this crazy thing we call life. So you need to make sure that you're doing what you need to do to take care of it. Number 17, pitch myself for more opportunities, brand deals, press passes, etc. So this is going along with my theme of being fearless. I have a fear that I'm going to get no a lot, which tends to happen. You either get a no or you get a yes, or you don't get an answer at all. But I think the fear of getting a no or not getting heard or not getting a reply back keeps me from these opportunities and trying to, ask for these opportunities. So I am really trying to, put myself out there more and reach out to more brands, figure out different collaborations, and, just kind of go after it. I do have the brand that can have a lot of value. So I really need to just start, pushing myself and putting myself out there, asking to be compensated, things like that. And so that's definitely something I want to talk about in another episode. Number 18, start a podcast. So I can check that one off. And, since I've already started this, I think that can change to maintain the podcast, right? So I hope to do a weekly podcast where I get to sit down, talk with you guys. So I think that goal will change into maintaining this podcast. Number 19, I only have one follower goal for 2020, and that's to hit 10K on YouTube. I hit 10K on Instagram, and we've had a slow climb on the YouTube train, but that's totally fine. I'm happy with whatever. I think it would just be awesome to hit 10K on YouTube. That'd be a big milestone for me, honestly. I was surprised hitting, 100 and 1K and 5K, but 10K would be really awesome. So I am gonna be pushing for that and be creating awesome content for that. And then number 20, I am wanting to put this out into the universe that I would like to create a job for myself. I would like to work for myself. I don't think this will happen in 2020 necessarily, but I would like to, put the foundation down to get myself there one day. I've seen some glimpses of what Vibe with Aid can do and what I can do. And I think, later down the road, this could be something really awesome and really great. And it can manifest into something so much more. So that is my final goal. So 20 goals for 2020. I hope this helped in some way. It was really awesome for me to just kind of reel back in and get back to my why and get back to, what I hope to accomplish this year. I feel like I've just been so bogged down by this breakup and everything that it's been hard to kind of see the bigger picture at hand. And, what an exciting year I do have ahead of me. It sucks that, I can't have that person be a part of my successes and be a part of my life really to be there. And I'm kind of having to erase that placeholder I had for him. But at the end of the day, like, I have you guys here with me. I have such an awesome support system with me, and I have myself. And I really keep on forgetting that I do have myself in mind, and I really am strong and capable and able to do this stuff. I am really excited for what this year can hold, and I can't wait to look back when I'm in 2021 or at the end of 2020 and just kind of look back at the goals I had set for myself and see kind of what happened and how the year played out and everything. I had that same realization looking at my 2019 goals when the start of 2020 came. So that is probably the last step when it comes to your goals, is at the end of the year, look back and see how this year happened and how it worked out for you and what you can do to move forward. I think it's so important to always reflect and then readjust. Don't sit on it too much, but just like reflect, celebrate any wins, take note of any losses and how you can better yourself next time. Don't get too bogged down by it. And then progress, move forward, see what the next steps are so that you can set yourself up next year for an even better year. I hope this was helpful in some way. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I am excited to keep doing this podcast. Let me know if you guys have any questions, any feedback. I appreciate it all so, so much. You can reach out to me at hello@vibewithade.com, or you can shoot me a DM on Instagram at vibewithade. Anything helps. Tag me in this episode if you're listening on Instagram or anything like that. I'd love to see it. Right now we're on the Anchor app, Spotify, and YouTube, and then hopefully we'll get added to some other ones, but that is where you can find me for now. Thank you so, so much for tuning in this week. Just another thing is that I did just upload my 2020 festival schedule to my YouTube channel. So if you're curious what festivals I will be at this year, definitely go check out that video. I'm also selling tickets to certain festivals on Pollen. So I announced that on my Instagram story. So definitely go check out what active tickets I have, as well as any active codes I have for festivals. I am selling tickets to Ubbi Dubbi and Seismic Dance Event. You can use Vibe with Aid for some money off of those tickets. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.